Hello and welcome to Golden Studios. In this video I'll be showing you how to make the coins look better. For one, we're going to make them float and also rotate, and then also we're going to make it so that when you collect it, it will float up towards the upper left hand corner. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete all of the Lego studs that I have in here already, and then you just want to right click on any of these and do show and explore. And then what you want to do is go to the Google Drive link in the description, and it'll have you download this stud base. So you'll want to drag that into here. So now see it's right there. And you can close out of these. And now there's a stud base right there. So you want to go ahead and open that up. And all the base stuff is here. You want to double click on the event graph. All the base code is here. We just need to fix some references and then it should be good to go. And then I'm going to replace this with the stud static mesh. And now that looks better. And I'm going to go to the folder and drag it in just so we can see what it looks like. Next, I'm going to go to the event graph and then drag this out. And for this, we want to cast to character 01. And I also want to open up character 01, and we'll use that later. And then I'm going to alt click to disconnect that, and then control drag to drag in the new node. And then I'll plug that in, and then plug this in here. And then if you click on this, you can see it just says object. We want to click on that, and then type in BP character 1 and then object reference and change variable type. Now that's changed. Click compile, and now that's fixed. And then next, for the player info, I want to drag off and set coins, and then control drag these into here, and then also control drag these into here as well, and then delete that. And then if you compile, this is now fixed. And then next we want to save the game, and up here we're going to want to drag some space and copy and paste the get actor right here. And then you're going to want to search for saved items, drag off of here and promote to variable, and then call that saved items and plug that in. And then we'll just want to delete that, get saved items, and then save game. And then next, we're going to want to get the BP character, and we want to set the coin position. And so we're going to have to go into the character 01 and then viewport. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be creating a position for the coin to move to, and it's going to look something like this. So in here, you're going to want to click on the follow camera, and then click add a cube, and then call this coin position. And then I'm going to make the scale 0.25. And then for now, I'm going to have it around this position. And the coordinates I'm using for now are 80, minus 280, and 136. But depending on where the coin is moving to on your screen, you might need to change the position of this. So once we have that set up, we're going to want to go to the stud base and delete that, and then we want to get the coin position, and then we'll plug that into the world location. And if you're getting an error, make sure that you compile the character 01 and then compile the stud base, because if this isn't compiled first, then it won't recognize this. Alright, so now I'm going to explain what all of this does, because it's a little different from the old version. So first we're checking if it is the player. So first we're checking if the player that's being controlled is overlapping. So no matter which character it is, and you could do this with checking with the tag, but even if it's inactive, then it would still pick it up because it has the player tag. But this way it only does it if the player is controlled. So if it is controlled, then it plays a sound. And I'm doing it this way because we're going to create several parents of this blueprint. And so we'll be able to set this variable inside of those, because not all the studs have the same sound effect. And then in here we're adding the coin amount, and then we save the game. And then if physics were enabled, then we want to turn off the physics, and then we want to disable collision for all of these, and then we're turning off the set active rotation, because it messes up when it's trying to move towards the screen if it's still rotating. And then we turn off the cast shadow, and then we do a timeline, and this is what makes it move towards the location. And in here it's just a simple 0 to 1. So if you wanted to make it quicker, you could change this to like 0.5, and then you would change this value, the time, to 0.5, and then it would be twice as quick. And then on update, we're setting the actor location and the target as self, and the variable of either 0 to 1 is going into a lerp vector for the alpha, and what we're lerping between is the location of the stud blueprint and then the position of the coin, which is the end destination, the coin position, and then that's being fed into the new location. And then we want to give it time to get there, so we're going to do a 0.5 delay, and then we destroy the actor. And then on event begin play, we're just calling the references for player info, saved items, and we're also setting the collision to be spinning. So we're activating the rotation, and then we're also getting the reference for the character, setting a delay, and then we set simulate physics to false. So that way if it spawns, it'll have physics, and then it'll turn off after 5 seconds. And then just to give it a bit of randomness, I set a random Z rotation. If you did want to do physics, you'd click on the collision and then simulate physics, and then it would simulate physics. However, it doesn't quite work when I do that for some reason. I'm not exactly sure why, because we're turning it off right here, but something about it messes it up, so I just keep it off, and then that way it works and it goes up towards it. And then in the character 01, you want to test if the coin is going to the right position. It's going to the right spot for me. If it's not, then you want to move this around and test for the perfect position. I'm just going to keep it like this because it works for me, but when you find the way you like it, you want to type in visible and then uncheck. That way you don't see the shadow while you're in game. And now that you can see we have the base finished, there's a bit of a random rotation with it, and it's floating in the air. It's also rotating, and I don't have to touch it, I just have to be close to it to pick it up, which is much better, and also it's floating to the edge. And then the last things we need to do is set up the child blueprints and also the sound and the values. So I'll close out of that, and then I'll click on one of these and do Control B, and that'll take me right to it. And I'm going to create a folder and call it old studs, just in case you need them at some point. I'll just throw those in there. Next, you want to right click on the stud base and then create child blueprint class, and I'm going to call this blue stud, and then open that up, and in here you want to go to the event graph, and I'm going to delete this right here. This is what we need, event begin play, and the variables are missing down here, but that's okay. We can just drag off of here and do set coin amount, and that's the same variable in here, coin amount. So back in the blue stud, a blue stud is worth 1000, and then we want to set the sound, and you might have to scroll all the way down to variables and then set the sound, and that's the variable right here. And then going to content, sound, and sound effects, I'm going to find the blue stud, click on that, and then click the arrow to put that in there. And then I'm going to click the browse button, and then I'm going to go to the viewport and set the material for this. And this is the blue Lego. And then once I do that, I'm going to click on the browse button, and then I want to duplicate this 3 times, and then the next one we're going to call purple, and then the next one we'll do silver, and last we'll do bronze. So I'm going to go into bronze and just set this to the regular stud sound effect, and bronze has a value of 100. And then in the viewport, I'm going to change the color to bronze, and then I'll click on the purple, and that's also a blue stud sound effect, and the value for this is 5000. Then I'll go to the viewport and change it to the purple Lego. And finally, we'll go to the silver stud, and we want to change that to a regular stud sound effect, and this one is worth 10 coins. Then we'll go to viewport and change that to the silver. So then we can close out of this, and I'm going to delete the base stud, and now I can place a couple of different ones in here. Alright, so now we have some coins. And when I walk over them, they float up, and they also add to the value of the coin bar. And that's looking a lot better than they were before. Thank you guys for watching, hope you found this helpful, and I'll see you guys next time.